When you become a parent, your whole world changes. For the better or worse? For the better. What people won't tell you is just how much of yourself you lose in the process. Join me as we dive into the tough reality of navigating your identity shifting through the early stages of fatherhood. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Amrit Sandhu here to help you live a life you truly love. Before I was a father, my life was 80% about myself and 20% about everybody else, right? In the 80%, there was me, there was my gym time, my journaling, my meditation, my hobbies, my guitar practice, my drumming, my handpans, my podcast, all the things that I loved lived in this 80%. Many of my commitments, most of the commitments that weren't attached to my identity lived in that 20%. And most of the things that I associated myself with, my music, my meditation, my journaling, my self-care, my well-being, my business, my offering lived in that 80%. When I became a father, this was something that I was not prepared for. They say you're never ready to be a parent, and I truly wasn't. I don't know about you, but you're never ready, right? And this was the thing that I was least ready for. The mindset shift that came with the intense identity shift that happened. My life went from being 80% about me and 20% about others to all of a sudden being 20% about me and 80% about others. And what do I mean by those others? What was in that new 80% that became so important? There was literally just three things. You could argue it's one thing, which is family, but it looked like my wife, my child, and my home. These three things all of a sudden became my number one priority really fast. But hey, Amrit, I've heard you talk about your core values on this channel before. What about connection? What about contribution? What about celebration? Absolutely, those are my three core highest values. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the values video on this channel. I'll link them in the show notes below. My connection, my contribution, my celebration was all now directed to that 80%, to my family. So that's where I felt connection the richest. That's where I went to deliver my contribution the hardest. And those early wins, those moments of joy that only fatherhood, touchwood, can bring through for you are there to steep deeply within the celebration of fresh new life. So touchwood, your core values will always be honored. Yours are what they are for you. Mines were still being honored. However, my priorities shifted significantly. And that can be very difficult to navigate. And let's be real, it can be a really tough thing to come to terms with. It is nothing short of an ego death. It is a massive cup of medicine that you've been fed and time for you to learn to let go. The only thing is it doesn't turn off. It is on all the time. Yeah, generally when you're going through a process, whether it's breath work, whether it's shamanic, whether it's meditative, whether it's a retreat away on journaling, whether you're in a boot camp, you know the experience comes to an end. With parenting, it does not. You are shifting, you are changing. And the biggest part of you that is shifting is your new identity. Some people will take to this much more smoothly. They were prepared to be a father and they embrace the new identity shift. For other people, this was a rude awakening that came as a news flash. And it was really difficult to digest. I was one of those people. I was really excited to be a father, but when I started to realize just how much of myself I had to let go in order to become a father, it took ages to adjust. But I could see that I was adjusting and transitioning. And to be honest, this is a massive shift in your life for the better. Neil Donald Walsh said this on the podcast on the Inspired Evolution when he came on, that your life is actually not about you. We often end up in these unfulfilled situations because we're busy trying to be selfish, filling up our cup. Sometimes it looks like self-care, sometimes it's pure selfishness, and we're just trying to do things for us, but we still end up feeling so hollow, even when we get that new car, even when we get that new house, even when we end up dating that girl that you thought you really wanted to date, but somehow there's something still within you that is empty. There's that famous quote by Jim Carrey, I wish everybody became famous so they realized that it's not it. And what he meant by that is that it's not what matters most. What matters most, according to Neil Donald Walsh, is the impact we have on others. And there are no more important people in your life, touchwood, inarguably, than your partner and your child, touchwood. You are going through a massive shift. but it's an incredible initiation for you as a father. It's an incredible opportunity to step up to the plate, and what you will find, this is echoed through in Jordan Peterson's entire body of work, that as we step into greater and greater levels of responsibility, into that dissolution of what was previously 80% us into 20% us, and how that 20% has potentially grown into 80%, showing up for your family has you stepping into responsibility. Your ability to respond as a father is really being trialed and tested and ultimately developed at this time. What's really important to realize as you're going through this 80-20 shift, that the number one tool that you could apply is the ability to surrender, is to allow things to happen and flow. And the key thing within surrender for you to learn to do is to learn to let go. It's okay that parts of you are shedding. There are things that you used to love doing that you won't be able to do right now. It is actually one of the best processes that is ever going to happen to you. You start to learn to prioritize what is most important. I could meditate for 60 minutes back in the day. Now I can only meditate for 20 because that's all my schedule allows for, but that is the minimum effective dose. I'm becoming super efficient, hyper optimized, and I'm achieving more with my time than even before because I'm so much more conscious of my time when I've applied it to myself. Previously, you could almost argue that I was terribly ineffective. Right now, I am one of the most effective individuals crafted through this experience, through this 80-20 shift. The key thing that's going to help you is to learn to surrender, and within that, learning to let go. You will come back a whole new, richer, better, faster, stronger version of yourself if you allow yourself to. If you continue to hold on and claw, the transformation is going to happen anyway, but you're going to come out all beaten and battered through the process. A little bit of clinging is absolutely normal, but if you can, where you can, let go, learn to surrender. In the early days, just to give you an example, the Inspired Evolution was coaching 40 clients. Within 3 months of becoming a father, I had to realize that I had to fire 35 of my lowest paying clients simply because I did not have enough time to do what I loved, which was coaching, but also support my family. I had to keep my 5 highest clients. Their rates went up because I had to get really conscious of how I was showing up in my business. Now, even in that example, you can appreciate I learned to value myself better because of the limited time that I have. People were reimbursing me to a higher level, and I was spending less time coaching and making just as much money as when I was coaching 40 people from 5 people. That's a significant difference in terms of hours committed to a project. Touch wood, these sort of transformations are awaiting for you as well, as long as you can surrender and go with the transformation. I'll leave you with a parting thought, which when people ask me, Amrit, how are you going? And I'm having a tough day. I don't like to say that I'm having a tough day. What I generally say is, today I'm having a day that I'm reflecting on the fact that God does not give his toughest challenges to his best warriors. He creates his best warriors through giving them the toughest challenges. Dad, you so got this. Stay inspired, keep evolving. And guys, if you want to go super deep on the work around identity, there's a whole video here on Toltec Wisdom by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. You will find this invaluable. If you love this, you're going to love that. Click here now.